Namaste. Jai Shiva. A lot of people walk their spiritual journey only to quit really soon. So we have come up with this book, and in this book we have explained what it means to be a yogi and how you can be a true yogi and build a really solid foundation. So whenever there is a tough time, okay, whenever you are facing yourself in your spiritual journey and you face some challenges and stuff, you do not quit and you do not go on hopping here and there. You just need to awaken that inner wisdom within, and you are able to walk your spiritual journey confidently. So what builds a solid foundation? That is what we have discussed in this book. Also, we have explained to you before going to any spiritual retreat or yoga retreat, or before going to any guru or doing any courses or stuff, how can you actually build a foundation before going there so that you get the full advantage of being with the guru? It's one thing to listen to guru's videos, and it's one thing to read their books, it's one thing to read their teachings or get to their teachings in some other way. But it's a completely different thing to be with the guru. It may be online, may it be in the one-on-one session, or may it be through the group session or whatever. It's a completely different thing to be with the guru, to take the full advantage of Shakti that is there in the guru for your own transformation. You need to build a solid foundation. So that is what we have explained in this book. The links to purchase the book, the Kindle book and ebook version of it, the links are there in the description box. So make sure you are looking into the description box to see the paperback link, and there are other links on our website and stuff. You can take a full advantage, and it's a very simple, small, practical book that you can apply in your life. The teachings and wisdom can directly be applied and practiced right from day one. So don't put it back on shelf after reading. You have to apply the teachings in your life. That is where the success of any wisdom is, right? In sharing the wisdom. And I really would like to thank Praveen and Aparna for a lot of effort that they have made in bringing this book to reality. And in future, we are also working on some really good books which do not exist in the market. So we will cover up all that. And for now, just build a solid foundation so you understand the higher levels of teachings. Whatever your suggestion, comments or reviews are about this book, you can provide to us on Amazon website as well as on our Being Shiva websites. We will be providing the links in the description box here. So take a full advantage and build a solid foundation. Namaste. Jai Shiva. Namaste. Jai Shiva. A seeker has asked me a question regarding one of the Maharishi Patanjali's sutra in the Yoga Darshan, which is about, Asampragyat Samadhi, or you can call it Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Nirbij Samadhi, or Enlightenment, or Moksha. So how does the ultimate Moksha, Moksha differs in three different kinds of yogis? There are three different types of yogis. So for that, in order to understand that how their samadhi and enlightenment and moksha differs, we need to understand what are those three different types of yogis first. So the first one is Bhavapratyay yogi. Okay, I'll write these terms in the title or someplace where you can, know the spelling, how they are spelled. So the first one is Bhavapratyay yogi. So now think of an Atma, okay? And if an Atma realizes through lot of spiritual practices that, all their bad karmas are gone, and whatever is left, they want to use, whatever karmic thing is left, they want to use their life for doing good karma. And sattva arises in them. In a way, you can say sattvic rajas arises in them. So, doing a whole lot of good karma
okay, which is driven by sattva, purity. And they want to eliminate the suffering of human beings by, killing all kinds of bad people, bad, demons or rakshas and asur and whoever is creating or disturbing the creation. And disturbing it to the extent so that good people are not able to live. So they want to do all that kind of help. And they start with good karma. So when they end up cleaning lots of rakshas, asur, demons in so many different dimensions, including for human beings, if anybody is creating a whole lot of torturous environment, and they end up killing them, removing them from the scene, okay, so they stop doing bad karma even more, and they stop torturing the good souls and let the spiritual people be spiritual and be able to walk their spiritual journey. And in order to balance the sattva, rajas and tamas, in order to particularly balance the tamas, so in a way they start helping Paramatma or the God, the Supreme Being. They start helping sustain the universe as per the plan or the system that Paramatma has created, like a system of karma, like a system of dharma and so many other systems, right? So everything can go as planned and everything can go take its own time and everybody can live happily and safely and securely. So they start helping Paramatma for all that. So life after life they go on doing enormous amount of punya. Punya means very good karma, really good karma. And their tapasya or their spiritual practices are also to gain lots of enormous amount of siddhis, supernatural powers. But they do not use those supernatural powers just to display them or showcase them someplace. No. They want to use them so that they can protect the spiritual people, good people, protect the system, protect the dharma, and be able to kill all kinds of powerful asur, rakshas and people, however powerful they are. They should be able to remove them from the scene, kill them. Okay, so such kind of yogis, they acquire a great deal of good karma. And because in a way they were protecting spiritual people and good beings in all the dimensions, in a way they are the savior kind of, yogis, and they are acquiring power after power, supernatural power after supernatural power to be able to, protect people and kill those demons. So everybody starts loving them in all the dimensions, no doubt about it. Who doesn't want to be protected if a demon is trying to kill you, right? So people become bhaktas, people fall in love. People fall in love and devotion, extreme love and devotion with such a yogi. So these yogis are called as Bhavapratyay yogi. And Bhagwan Krishna was one such a yogi who acquired enormous amount of siddhis and powers through tapas. Okay? And got into Dashavatar, 10 avatars of Vishnu that we call. So 10 lifetimes he spent saving and protecting karma and dharma of good people, spiritual people, and killing all kinds of nasty demons and asuras and rakshasas and whoever got insane and started wreaking havoc in all the dimensions and all the realms of existence. So he ended up removing them. So then avatar after avatar we started, because they display so much of divine qualities. Out of the 54 qualities of Paramatma, they are the ones who exuberate, are able to display those qualities in myriad forms. They have siddhis, enormous amount of siddhis. that usually the other kinds of yogis do not have. Okay, so people become bhakta, people fall in love with them. They are Bhavapratyay yogis. So then comes a time after playing Leela in so many lifetimes, removing demons here and Rakshas there and Asur there and killing this bad person here and that bad person there and, saving all kinds of good people and this and that, to doing ton of Leela. There comes a time when Bhavapratyay yogi realizes that creation is endless. Right? It'll go on happening. So are the bad people and the good people and the spiritual people. All kinds of people will go on happening. So they need to give up. It's enough. In some lifetime, they are bound to say, okay, enough is enough. Now I need to attain the moksha. Earlier, moksha wasn't their goal. Their goal was to acquire as many siddhis, powers to set up dharma, to save good people, spiritual people, to help Paramatma sustain the creation, maintain the creation in the way it is supposed to be. Okay? Earlier that was the goal. So in some lifetime they realize it's enough. Then those Bhavapratyay have to take a human body, karma deha, okay? Human body, they have to appear in human form in their last lifetime. And they go to the other kind of yogis, which we'll talk about in a while. So they go to the other kind of yogis and they attain the wisdom of moksha. Whatever remaining wisdom they have to get, they get it. And they realize it in few days, few weeks, few months, and they are done. They attain samadhi. And when they leave their body, when Bhavapratyay yogis leave their body, when Mahasamadhi happens to them, because their subtle body, which means 18 tattvas, 18 elements which constitute the subtle body. And you can watch the Sankhya Darshan video, 3 videos of Sankhya Darshan that I have created on my channel. You can watch them and you can also see the iCard appearing on top of this video that you can start paying attention to and clicking on it if you are interested, okay? Learning more about what are those 18 elements which constitute the subtle body, what are the other remaining 18 which constitute the physical body, and so on, right? And so 18 elements of those Bhavapratyay yogis are really in a highly evolved state. Highly evolved state. So when they take Mahasamadhi or when they leave their physical body, they are instantly able to exhume or discard or dissolve those remaining 18 elements of their subtle body, and they instantly merge in Paramatma. Instant merger in Paramatma of such a yogi's Atma happens. So this is what it is about Bhavapratyay yogi. And they are loved by everyone. They are worshipped by a lot of people, especially the Bhakta generation. The devotees generation, devotees population. Next one is Upayapratyay yogi. Upayapratyay yogis are the other ones. Like all of us will be called as Upayapratyay yogis. If when we attain Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, it's called as Upayapratyay. We are referred to as Upayapratyay yogis. Upayapratyay yogis, and they are not avatars. Upayapratyay ones are not avatars of the Paramatma, and they have supernatural powers, but not the ones that Bhavapratyay had. And Upayapratyay come to an understanding, come to the wisdom of moksha little earlier in their journey. that there is no end to creation. Whether you stay in a heavenly body or this human body or some other celestial being's God body, if you stay in this, earthly realm, or you stay in heavenly realm, or you stay wherever, it's going to end in the suffering of one kind or the other. So, very early in their spiritual journey, they have this gyan that the creation is infinite. And it's going to go on and on and on and on forever. You kill one demon, still some more will be sprouted. You kill one asur, one rakshas, 10 more will come up. And it even more powerful. And then you will attain more siddhis, more supernatural powers to kill those even powerful ones. And then you go for more powerful ones. So there's no end. It's an infinite loop. And you can go on doing all that forever. It's not going to end. The entire humanity, or all the atmas that are there in the entire universe, cannot be enlightened, cannot be turned spiritual all at once at any given point of time. So all the realms, all the dimensions, all the realms of existence are always going to be full of some bad ones, some good ones, some spiritual ones, some highly non-spiritual ones. Some always doing good karma, some doing bad karma. And those who turn. So not only that one needs to have vairagya from human body, one needs to have vairagya from any and all kinds of body. One not only needs to have vairagya from the humanly, earthly existence or the samsara that you see here or experience here on the earth. One needs to have vairagya from the all kinds of heaven and nice lokas, enjoying lokas where there is no suffering or, human-like suffering and all that. So one needs to have vairagya from that. Now, one needs to have vairagya that no amount of good karma is going to give you moksha. No amount of good karma is directly responsible for giving someone a moksha, freedom from death and birth cycle. No amount of karma, good karma. People can go on doing punya after punya, good karma after good karma. The way you have to bear the consequences of all your bad karmas, one has to bear the good consequences of their good karmas as well. All the punyas as well. And for that you need this body or that body or this kind of realm or that kind of existence. Something is needed. You will be existing somewhere, in some way. And such Upayapratyay yogis have Sampurna Vairagya, full 360-degree Vairagya, dispassion. And they are able to drop karma itself. Not doing bad karma, not doing good karma either. Staying in Kriya, just the Kriya and just in sadhana. And that is how their ultimate goal is moksha. Now such yogis may have been already to heavenly realms, right? And they might have attained all kinds of subtle bodies here and there, like I had experienced or Gautam Buddha experienced, right? Coming from other realms and having other bodies and everything. Yet, the gyan that happens is that no amount of sukha, no amount of happiness could take away the longing for Brahma, for Paramatma from within us. Nothing could stop that pain of separation that we have with Paramatma, with Brahma. So even that was discarded. That was dropped. So this is called as Sampurna Vairagya. Upayapratyay Yogis, early on in their journey, in their lifetimes after lifetimes, cultivate Sampurna Vairagya. And when it comes to getting the wisdom of moksha, Krishna, being a Bhavapratyay yogi, got that wisdom of moksha from the Upayapratyay yogi who was Rishi Sandipani. Bhagwan Ram got it. Being a Bhavapratyay yogi, he got it from the Upayapratyay yogi Vasishtha. All the Shastras and scriptures that you read or you see have, and all the wisdom of moksha that you see is mostly, not all of it, but most of it has been written by or has been given to other types of yogis by Upayapratyay type of yogis. Rishi Sandipani, Vasishtha, Vyas, and Jaimini, so many others were just Upayapratyay yogis. And it is their job, it is their responsibility to provide that wisdom of moksha to even Bhavapratyayas. Right? But because they are providing the wisdom of moksha, which is the ultimate wisdom, and only few can grasp it, only few need it, because most of the people are still interested either in being just a bhakta, right? And going through that path, not ready for the wisdom yet, that kind of a wisdom yet. Or people are interested in heavenly realms, this realm, that realm, this dimension, that dimension, this supernatural power and that supernatural power. So very few are interested in the true wisdom of moksha. So Upayapratyay yogis are not very famous. Or you can say they are very famous among the population of other Upayapratyay yogis who have Sampurna Vairagya. Full 360 degree of Vairagya from anything and everything that exists. From the entire manifestation, from the entire creation. So they do not want to exist as anybody or anything else. Do not want to acquire siddhis just for the sake of siddhis, or to do good karma or bad karma, or do this or do that. No. No amount of doing is going to help one attain moksha. So when Upayapratyay attains Nirvikalpa Samadhi, then at that time they also have 18 elements existing in their subtle body, and it's the first time that they are going to discard that, right? When they attain Mahasamadhi or when they leave their physical existence, right? But what happens is, because the kind of gyan that they had and the kind of tapas that they did, their 18 subtle elements have not gone through the stages where they can be discarded, dissolved or exhumed just like that. So it takes them 140 to 200 years after this discarding this body, physical body. It takes them that many years to finally merge into Paramatma, dissolve those 18 elements and dissolve in Paramatma, merge in Paramatma, be in union forever in Paramatma without having any physical or gross or subtle existence at all, right? So it takes them that many years. Now some Upayapratyay yogis, they may choose to prolong that time, because in that subtle body, they are able to manifest themselves physically anywhere. For any seeker or any students that they have taught, any disciples that they have, they still want to help, they can prolong that duration. They still want to help humans and celestial beings and other kinds of yogis in this way and that way in subtle manner, they can do that. So that 140 to 200 is the normal duration, you can say. It can be prolonged to thousands of years. Although it's a very difficult thing to do, because the pull that one feels after Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the pull that we feel from Paramatma or the Brahma, is way too much to keep us in this body or any body, gross or subtle. That pull is too much. We're just ready to get out of all the bodies, get rid of all the bodies, gross or subtle. So it's very hard to prolong that journey. But still, they do it. Some of them do it. Okay. And then some can reduce it. If required, they want to reduce us, they can reduce it to like 70, 80 years or something like that. So it can be reduced to that much. Now it may look like a very long time, 70, 80 years or 140 to 200 years, which is the normal, usual time, or human years, and 1,000 years may look like, oh, such a long wait time to merge in Paramatma finally. But that is not what is the perception of the Upayapratyay yogi once he attains Nirvikalpa. Why? Because we are staying in Ananda all the time. It's subtle at times and it becomes really gross, or you can see us laughing and just sitting and just closing our eyes or whatever. It's too much, that Ananda. So life, these years that have been gone by, I can talk from my experience, that these years, it's been 5 years since I have been enlightened, since I have self-realized. It's been 5 years. And still, it doesn't feel like 5 years at all. It only feels like 5 minutes or an hour or a day max. I don't know. I mean, I have no perception of time that way. So, from the counting, from the number, it may look like 140 to 200 years is a big time, or 70, 80 years is a big time, or maybe if one chooses to prolong it to 1,000 years, may look like a big time. But in the perception of Upayapratyay yogis, it's not such a big time. Their perception is still happening through the Anandamaya Kosh that they got. Okay? So, in case of Bhavapratyay, they were able to merge in Paramatma instantly. Once they took Mahasamadhi, once they left their physical body. In case of Upayapratyay, they are able to merge in Paramatma after discarding their subtle body, which takes few years, couple hundred years, right? That is the difference between Nirvikalpa Samadhi or the Moksha of Bhavapratyay and Upayapratyay. And then comes the third one, Prakritilaya. Prakritilaya are yogis, third type of yogis, who are not existing in human body at all, who have mastered each and every element and everything of the creation. Most of the time, they are just existing as something very subtle, at the level of either Mahat or at the level of, just the guna. That tiny, that molecular existence they have got. Yet, it's an existence, it's a part of your subtle body. However small it may look like, however less elements it may have, at least you have a body and you are not merging fully into that Paramatma yet. So after doing all kinds of playing around and all kinds of siddhis and converting this element to that element, existing as this element or this thing or that element, at elemental level we are talking about now when it comes to Prakritilaya. So they have existed as anything and everything and every kind of element. And they are done playing around. So when they decide they want to attain Samadhi and Moksha, then again, because Upayapratyay are now existing in their subtle body, after Upayapratyay has taken a Mahasamadhi, then they are existing in their subtle body and they are in the process of discarding those subtle bodies. They are able to give the wisdom of Moksha to Prakritilaya as well. And then they are able to help them, and when Prakritilaya attains moksha, again it's an instant thing. Their subtle body is just gone instantly, and they merge into Paramatma. Their Atma merges into Paramatma. Okay? So this is the difference between the Asampragyat or Nirvikalpa Samadhi, and then how. So it does not have impact upon whether one gets moksha or not, or if one kind of moksha is different than the other kind of moksha. No, all three of them attain moksha. But the duration that it takes for one to merge into Paramatma versus the other, that is what differs. And that is what Maharishi Patanjali has explained in his Samadhipada. In one of the sutra where he is talking about Asampragyat Samadhi and how it is different for Bhavapratyay and Prakritilaya and Upayapratyay. And it is the duty, responsibility of Upayapratyay to help other Upayapratyas and to help Bhavapratyay and to help impart the wisdom of moksha to Prakritilaya, to everybody. So they are known as great rishis and great rishikas, yogi and yoginis of their time, and they are known for that. So it's not that one kind of yogi is better than the other kind of yogi. No, it's nothing like that. All three kinds of yogis are required. Bhavapratyayas are required because a lot of population still depends upon, savior phenomena. Somebody else will save me. Somebody else will come for me. So they depend on Bhavapratyayas, yogis. A lot of people and lots of spiritual population, those who are walking there having vairagya and are walking their journey towards moksha, they depend a lot upon Upayapratyay yogis. And all the other kinds of yogis also depend upon Upayapratyay yogis to give them wisdom of moksha. And existing as different elements and having science and technology for different yogas, it's Prakritilaya. Those who gain those kind of masteries and then come up with this kind of a weapon or that kind of a supernatural power or this thing or that thing and come up with a ton of science. So it's necessary. Somebody will do it, right? And there are people who have different kind of sankalpa, different kind of motive, different kind of volition or intention before they start walking their spiritual journey. Some people do want to focus on good karma, and sattvic rajas do arise in them, and they can go on lifetime after lifetime helping the samsara in that way, helping all the dimensions, helping Paramatma that way. Upayapratyay, they are also needed because they are for those senior Atmas who are having sampurna vairagya from anything and everything. And they help. Upayapratyas are needed when any time creation is being started. And the gyan has to be given from one to another, and they have the powers because they themselves realized all the wisdom of moksha. Upayapratyay realized that because they reached the level of Shruti, Shabda, Nad, Omkar. So just by hearing, they can download the entire Gyan. So they are born, they are able to appear into the beginning of the creation and help Paramatma with creation, so that because no matter what yoga it is, no matter what time cycle it is, no matter what the time it is, some people are still, some Atmas are still going to walk their spiritual journey, and they are going to need that pure wisdom of moksha. So such Atmas, such Upayapratyay helps. And when they are staying in their subtle bodies, Upayapratyay are able to help all kinds of Prakritilaya and all kinds of other yogis who are existing in subtle body and do not need to they do not have any amount of karma left so that they can take karmadeha, human body. So do not need to take that. They can be self-realized or take samadhi, attain nirvikalpa, attain enlightenment, self-realization, nirvana in their subtle body itself. They have done that much of tapas where they have got rid of everything that gives one a physical body, this kind of a gross physical body. Yet they do have a body, but only very, very subtle, consisting of just some very few subtle elements. So this is the difference, and I hope this helps you understand three different types of yogis. It also aligns with different kinds of motives, intentions one has, and the ultimate prime responsibility and the way help is provided to the cosmos, to the entire realm, all the existence, entire manifestation, and different beings are helped through these three different kinds of yogis. Don't think one or the other is more famous, so they are more important and other ones are not. No, don't think like that. It's a foolishness. You cannot say only PhD scientists are needed because they are able to teach PhD scholars. You cannot say scientists without teaching PhD scholars are not needed. You cannot say primary school teachers are not needed. They are very much needed. So all kinds of yogis, all different kinds of people, all different kinds of things are needed. Okay? Nothing is much more bigger, or it may sound one kind of yogi may sound, or their motives may sound very interesting to certain kind of a population, certain other kind of population, other kind of people, some other yogi or their things may look very interesting or sound very interesting. So depending upon what is the intention, you become that kind of a yogi. Okay? Namaste. Jai Shiva.